forget.
I sent the picture of the Weber Grill to Anthony LaPanta. I said, hey, what do I do with this contraption? And he goes, keep it in bubble wrap so you don't blow up your house.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. Well done, Mr. LaPanta.
So I'm playing spike ball, and I jam my thumb against my giant left thigh. And it was like an 8-month injury. I had to go get treatment. I knew I was like sitting on a massage, like on a, like honestly, a physical therapy, and the guy was massaging my thumb with like icy hot, and gave me like a
you
splint,
got a thumb massage,
and gave me like a splint for it. I haven't played. I've refused to play spike ball
thumb
since.
massage. I've never heard of that before.
Well, I went to spike the ball, and I went a little too far. And nailed my thumb with
So if you jam your thumb on your thigh, is that an upper body injury or a lower body injury?
No, it was definitely upper. It freaking hurt. Months. I thought it was like permanently done.
You know what you are? You are questionable for the rest of your life.
Yeah. It's a great podcast.
It's as good as any.
Found more glass.
From Ted, Angry Gopher Schmanky. Serious question: is Joel Quenneville interested in the Wild job?
Why would he be?
Yeah, I know, and he's not going to get it over. That's not going to work.
And I mean, is Bruce is I mean, he could get $6 million a year anywhere. Is if Minnesota even was willing to pay that type of salary? Again, I don't think there's a good enough coach that could deal with this right now. So it would take a sales pitch, but there's going to be a lot of teams that I think are interested in Joel. And he's got his pick of the thing. He can go to Seattle. He could wait for, I don't know. I mean, I could wait for St. Louis. I've got to think if St. Louis, even as good a job as Craig Berube's done, if St. Louis thinks they could get him, when you do that, Flyers are going to need a coach probably. Who else? If Dallas Eakins doesn't go to Anaheim, maybe Anaheim, maybe LA. LA needs a coach. Remember, Desjardins an interim. If you're a Chicago guy, like just spent all your time in the big city and loved it, like Joel Quenneville, wouldn't going to California intrigue you? Especially a team like Anaheim, by the way, that has a ton of prospects coming. So Flyers, same thing. I mean, just think of the prospect pools of all these teams. I mean, the Flyers right now are built for success long term. So I just doubt it.
From Keith Rushavi, he asks a slightly different question. Do you think
Florida?
Do you think Boudreau has lost the room and they need a change?
I don't know. Who cares if he lost the room? These guys need to stop. Every coach loses the room on this team.
That is very true.
I'm so tired of the losing the room stuff.
Yep. From V. Vennet, can we blame the poor home record this year on changing the goal song from "Let's Go Crazy"?
Well, we've only heard it 100 times in the XL Energy Center, so maybe they will change it again.
From Shorzy, will you be having a blank counter installed in your new kitchen? She mentioned a coffee company that I'm not going to give any free pub to. I don't see.
I just bought a new Mr. Coffee maker.
Oh,
and
man, you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
You need to get a hold of berrycoffee.com. They sell great stuff for your home. It'll be like top-end, top-notch coffee and top-notch coffee makers. They sponsor the Smalley Show. They're great people. Let me know after the show if you want to hear about it. Because that's what I'm going to do at my place. I'm going to get Berry Coffee stuff.
Yep.
From Andrew Richter. I'm sorry. That was a baseball question. I have quite a mix of things in my feed. Let's see. From Alec, does Russo need your permission to enter your presence? I don't get that one. Let's see. From Ms. N. Forgive if this has been covered. How is Dumba? Has Mikko had his surgery yet? And what the heck is wrong with Eck? Good questions.
Yeah, Mikko had his surgery. Eck's took a lot of weight from Brent Burns on about 6 different times on that skirmish. I pointed it out at the time. And he's got a lower body injury. I'm trying to do my best to respect Paul Fenton's wishes, and if a guy is going to come back, not give away his injury. What was the first question?
Dumba, how is he?
Dumba's fine, but again, I mean, I don't. As I reported at the time, he was probably missing the year, and so I don't get why we're getting all these questions like, asking for Dumba updates. It's not gonna. What's it matter? He's not coming back by the end of the season, and even if he did, what
he
good is?
Play.
Yeah.
From Aaron Berger, there's a reason why Gorg always seems to ask the first question of the post-game press coverage.
That's
an FSN thing.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know if it's a rule by FSN, but we kind of let him do it. Okay. And then I come in second. It's kind of become like a thing.
Yeah. From Let's see. Let me find another good question here before we wrap up. From Richard, do you think Craig Leopold looks at the guys that Fenton brought in, not named Donato and Fiala, and is second-guessing himself hiring Fenton as GM?
I don't know about that. I don't think so. I thought it was bizarre, the whole Matt Robson video the other day, and Craig in there with him like they had signed Ken Dryden. You know, I don't. It was weird to me. I mean, he's a college free agent. I once wrote a 50-inch Casey Wellman feature for the Star Tribune. You know,
that's so you.
But hopefully he becomes like Cam Talbot, Carter Hutton, Dwayne Rolson. Hey, Nick Backstrom's the winningest goalie in Minnesota Wild history, and he was a European free agent. So
right.
That's no slight on it. I just thought the whole thing was strange. I don't know. I mean, look, I mean, Craig's not blind. This has been a miserable season. But he's given me no indication that he regrets hiring Paul at all.
From Bo Barino, what do you think Donato's and Fiala's contracts look like this summer? 2 times $1 million prove-it contracts, all as Zucker's post-ELC?
I don't know if $1 million's cheap. Is little, and I got to think it's going to be more than $1 million. Zucker, what was he, a 2-year, 2.5 at one point? I think that's too much. They haven't proven even close to what Zucker proved at that point. But I haven't looked it up, but it's not going to be crazy, crazy money. They saved about $8.5 million in the moves, but if those guys take up, say, 4.5, then they got about $4 million extra to spend this offseason. But actually, that's not true because then they re-signed Stahl. So actually, the money's kind of eaten up that they saved on all this money.
2 more questions, unless you have a final thought. We'll let you have a final thought if you want about your house or whatever else. From Mike Johnson, if the Wild were to make the playoffs, can they play all their games on the road? Good question. From Jer, do the Wild put Kovanov and Sokolov together next year? Russian players always play better together.
I don't know. I mean, they're going to play on the same team next year. If Kovanov's Sokolov's a 4th liner down there, so I hope they're not playing together.
For the final thought, I would like you to either express pain over your, brutally damaged pinky, or just give us a final sigh.
Final sigh. I'm trying to think.
Well, how do you like being a homeowner?
I've been blocking a lot of people on Twitter lately. People are just so mean these days.
They are.
And
you know what? What I found out is because, on the one hand, in our positions, social media really matters. It drives subscriptions, it drives followers, it drives interest. But there's a point at which it's like, I always say, if you owned a restaurant, would you let somebody walk into your restaurant and spray paint nasty words on the wall?
Yeah.
No. So I think it's a mental health issue to block people who are just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know. I had one guy during the state tournament go off on me for asking or saying that my story. Do you know how much the Athletic spends per year on travel?
$1 million?
Over 7 figures.
Yeah.
And this guy had the audacity to get on me when I put remember I covered Zach Pierce covered the single A, covered the double A state championship, and this guy made some comment about, hopefully this will convince you to put your stories out for free.
That's so
I'm like, are you freaking stupid? Honestly. And then he comes back at me, he's like, now I'm all for the MSH, for not giving you guys a thing. I'm like,
listen, I'll go on my own rant here. Journalism costs money. Good journalism costs more money. Good journalism that requires travel and expertise costs even more money. Why are we the only business that people expect to get the product for free?
I mean,
it's so stupid.
You pay for when you watch CNN or Fox or whatever, you're paying for that. When you go into Nordstrom, you don't walk out with clothes because you think that they should give it to you for free. This is the same thing. We are spending a fortune on salaries and travel. The only thing we ask is $30 a year. Okay, that's less than a price of coffee. And so I don't. And then you say that to somebody in a nice way, and then all of a sudden you're attacked by other people. Like get the heck out of my life. So I'm glad to get rid of people.
Absolutely.
Then this guy the other day, just out of the blue, I'm on an off day, on a very stressed day. He doesn't know what's going on in my life, if I got something personal, like, if I'm sick, if I got somebody else sick or whatever. But I take one game off where I still am cool enough to at least watch the game and tweet from it. But I've made it very clear that Chad's doing it. And this guy comes at me and goes, I can't even get the score from your Twitter account. He's online. I can't even get scored. Maybe I'll quote unquote, which was a dig, subscribe to your better feed. Oh. So I'm like, you know what? I was off. I said in a nice way, I'm off tonight. I try Google, meaning the point is you're freaking online right now tweeting me. There's 1,000 places you can get the freaking score. Yep. And then he comes back at me with, I didn't expect a snarky response after he made the comment that he should subscribe to a better feed out of the blue, unsolicited. And then made some comment, well, maybe I'll just go and subscribe to Sarah McClellan or something. So I said, be my guest, and I got rid of the person. But, like, I don't understand where these people, like, just think out of the blue that they could just, come at you and just nasty. Like, what has happened to our society?
I'm going to go really big picture here. I think what we've discovered, and if you read freaking newspapers, I mean, the Athletics is a sports site and has very good people. Star Tribune is a general news organization that has a good sports department, but also we cover everything else. If you read newspapers the way I do, there is more mental. We have had it highlighted to us how many addiction problems there are in our country, how many mental health problems there are in our country, and you know what? Social media is the most easily accessible outlet for anybody who has problems.
Yeah. And so I try, like, I've gotten, and I don't know if you, have gotten the same way. You probably don't, because you're trying to also run a business on your Twitter account. But, like, to me, it's like, if I feel like at all, and even if, like, and I feel bad because I'm sure there are loyal people that read me that just, caught me at a bad moment when they were a jerk. But I just get rid of them because life's too short. Yep. 2 days
and
ago.
Even running a business, I don't want those people in my life or involved in my business. Right. So,
but I mean, it just life is just so much bigger. People are sick. I just wrote about Tom Curvers the other day. Somebody, a loved one passed away. That's just a horrendous story that I know. And you just try to, like, if you're getting stressed, I just got rid of. I was talking to this kid named Scott Hellman. He's a famous singer, especially up in Canada. Actually, he's a kid. He's like 25 or something. Listen to his music. He's really, really talented. But I just happened to be on a plane with him the other day, or a couple weeks ago, flying from Winnipeg to Banff, and I was talking to him and his band when we got to Calgary. And he was really close with Mike Taylor, who is in Walk Off the Earth, that I was really friends with, and we were talking about just, again, here's a fit 40-something 50-year-old guy, 2 young kids, just dies in his sleep, just totally random, like, life's too short, and so that's to get into a convoluted way. It's just like, why? It's, to me, it's like, I don't
waste your time with somebody tweeting hate at you, and you
so,
don't
like,
even
people
know.
like to say that I've got thin skin and all that stuff, but to me, it's like, it's my Twitter account, and that guy might have been a jackass and made some snarky comment about quote unquote, it was a dig at the Athletic. Maybe I should subscribe to your better feed. Like to me, it's like, if that bothers me to the point that it actually is now in my head for the next 5 minutes or 5 hours, then, like, I don't want to ever see that person again. And if that guy happened to be a subscriber to The Athletic, you know what? I'll buy somebody else their own subscription and make up for it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I just don't need that. And so,
and you can afford to buy subscriptions. Yeah. You have Mike Greenlay working for you for free.
Yeah, it actually bothered. Like, yeah, exactly. Although maybe I'll buy him lunch. So.
All right, we're going to awkwardly end it. Thanks to listening to our silly rants about, not silly rants, but our rants about all kinds of stuff. I will indicate on the promo for this.
We actually should have, like, a little Athletic, like, a little Russo-Souhan show, like, little party here of our, like, loyal listeners.
We should. Let's do it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, get Vicky and Clyde over here.
Well, next time we have a live show, we'll tell people, hey, we'll pick a date and we'll have everybody come over here for it.
Yeah, maybe Russo slacks.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Absolutely. The piranha will get him, though, going over the moat.
And then what I could do is I could have everybody do work around the house.
I knew there was something like that coming.
music in the bars and